Today we're going to look at one of my very first, well actually it's not one of my, it is the actual first keyboard, split ergo keyboard I ever bought. And I'm excited to do this video because we're going to give this an honest review. This is for the ZSA Voyager. Let's go to the desk and take a good close look at this keyboard together. And we'll see if this is a good keyboard for you. So here it is. This is the ZSA Voyager. Now, I've given a couple other reviews already. The keyboard.io, Model 100, the ZSA Moonlander. Those were keyboards I purchased myself off of eBay. But this keyboard, this one has a special place for me. This is the ZSA Voyager. This is the very first split ergonomic keyboard I bought, and I bought this brand new. I decided I really liked the way it looked, and I felt like this was a good starting point for me. We're going to look at this closely together, and hopefully it'll help you decide if this or maybe one of those other keyboards is the perfect fit for you. The ZSA Voyager is a low-profile keyboard, meaning unlike the Moonlander and keyboard.io that uses the MX, which is a much taller switch, this has a much thinner profile. Matter of fact, we'll take these off. These are little stubs that come with it. And you can see how much thinner this is. When I say I like this keyboard, I don't just like this keyboard. I love this keyboard. This keyboard is very comfortable for me to type with and use. I love the fact that its build quality is just top notch. It has this nice plastic shell that wraps around, and then at the bottom it has a nice metal plate. And then you can see through the holes here, that bright green, that is a plastic spacer that's placed between the circuit board inside and the metal plate. That way you don't have any shorts happen on the keyboard. For connectivity, you have a reset button which is recessed into the plastic shell here. And so it has a nice little tactile button that's easy to reach. A TRS cable which connects the two halves of the keyboard. So this is running QMK and wired only. And then a USB-C cable or connection. And that's it. This keyboard is very simple, but is very, very powerful little keyboard. Some of the other features that it has is it has what I took off. It comes with these little rubber feet. These are held on with magnets. So you'll notice each one here, I'll put them on here so you can see. There's a double line and a single line. Hopefully you can see that okay. Well, that matches the double line here and single line. So you can't put the wrong one in the wrong spot because they're the little key bumps or whatever you want to call them, little divots that they have, only fit in their respective holes. And you can hear it click in because that magnet, that little neodymium magnet, is nice and powerful. Lastly, it has this area here. Now this little area, this is for the magnet mount that you can purchase separately. And it connects into these four holes as well. And that gives it some stability. But this keyboard with this built-in tenting option makes it very comfortable and easy to use. This uses standard chalk switches. And I've replaced my switches a few times trying out different switches. I've used this keyboard for months to a year now. And honestly, I love this keyboard. I really do. This is a fantastic keyboard. Again, I bought this with my own money. And I highly recommend this, especially as a first keyboard. Just because not only is it built well, even though it's on the higher end, it's built well, but it comes with a lot of features, which is nice. And one of the best parts about it is it comes with a soft carrying case that you can carry in it. Comes with your cables that you need to connect to it. And their software, this is what I learned how to use an Ergo keyboard on, was this keyboard. I love the fact that it had the number row because I was worried about not having number row. And yeah, it's comfortable. It's easy to reach everything. It's easy to type. This is a fantastic keyboard. Like I said, I am a big fan of the ZSA Voyager, and I loved what ZSA did with this keyboard. Some of the things I don't care for, there's always something, right? I always felt like this keyboard should have had a third button, a third thumb key located right here. I always felt like it was natural to hit a third thumb key just because this was so natural. One thing I will say is after a while, reaching these thumb keys, while they're not that far, it felt a little bit of a stretch at times, especially when I was reaching up here. I mean, it's not a big deal, but it's just something that was like, that's not the most comfortable for me. It's not bad though. Now I have standard large hands. If I've got gloves, my glove size would be large. So if you have smaller hands, this may be a bigger deal for you. It wasn't a huge problem for me. It's just my thumbs aren't used to stretching like this. The other thing that I wish this had was, instead of the proprietary magnet mount that they used, I wish it just had a standard 1/4 thread insert here for a tripod mount. I get why they didn't do it, because this keyboard is very thin and that would probably be hard to fit in there. Now, the nice part about this is, though, this is just metal. All of your circuitry and stuff, the important things, your microprocessor and stuff, is up in here, up in this area. So here is just a switch area. So that means you don't necessarily have to use their magnet for this. Matter of fact, what I've used for a long time now is I've got these little clamps. I got these off of Amazon, and a standard phone magnet mount holds it great. I have no problem typing on this, and it doesn't move. So you can just use a standard magnet mount with this. So keep that in mind. Again, it's not a big deal that it doesn't have the thread. You can still use a magnet mount, which that's what I've used for quite some time. But that's really my only complaints. Let's take a look at the software together, and then you'll get to see where this really shines. I am a huge fan of Oryx, and all of their keyboards work with Oryx. I really wish they would open source Oryx, just because of how powerful this is and how easy it is to use. I love how easy Oryx is. If this is your first time getting into split ergo keyboards, this is the easy button to split ergo keyboards. Now, all their keyboards run what's called QMK, which is open source software, and they're huge in contributing to open source. And that basically means all of them are wired. So I wired in my TRS cable, and let's plug in my USB-C, and we'll see this guy light up. Now, it has per key RGB lighting, which I like. And if we go here to configure, we'll take a look. Now, if you looked up my layouts here, you'll find I've got a lot of layouts. I've got quite the history. Matter of fact, if we go back, we've got so many layouts from me trying different stuff. Oh, look. Okay, cool. I got an invitation to try layouts. We'll take a look at that a little bit later. So I've had 49 revisions, and I've had this keyboard for about a year, so this makes sense. I was trying all kinds of different things, and just to see what I like the most. So let's go here into my layout, and I'll show you a little bit of what I've done. And honestly, I'm going to be changing this layout again, because what I currently use as my keyboard, actually, I've switched from the Voyager, and now I use the open source Korn 4.1 keyboard. I'm going to be doing a review on this. This is one I actually sell in my store. I'll talk about my likes and my dislikes of it. But for now, let's focus on the Voyager. I love Oryx. The build quality of the keyboard is top notch. Oryx is like the icing on the cake. It makes it so easy. You select your layouts, what you want, which layers where. You can set up lighting. You can put in macros and combos, and it supports a lot of the capabilities QMK has built in. Not only that, it makes it so easy. You select one, you can change what you want. Okay, I don't want this to be a G. I want to do a shift G here, or I want to change this to a W, or I can make this into, whatever key I want just by scrolling down through all these categories. Oryx really makes this easy. It's easy to learn. It's intuitive. ZSA did an amazing job on Oryx. And not only that, but you can go in here and into the advanced configuration settings and actually change things within the QMK. So like your combo terms, you can change your debounce delay, any international items that you want, and the list goes on and on. I'm not giving a full Oryx orientation right now. I'll save that for another video. But the ZSA is to me anyway, a very comfortable keyboard to type on. Let's actually take a look at this. Let's go to train. This is something I really like. We'll connect to my keyboard. Now, let's just try some free typing in here. So we'll do I'm used to my corn. See, I haven't messed with this in a while. But you see, it's very easy. And the fact that this is so light, it's easy to transport. It's easy to carry with you. It comes with a carrying case. It's a very soft case, but everything fits in it very well. You don't have to worry about this getting damaged. Now, one thing I will say, I thought of one thing I don't like on this keyboard that I do want to point out. And again, this is me just being nitpicky. These outermost thumb keys. This isn't a huge deal, but I've already had this happen once. These keys are built differently. So, and the reason I say differently is the orientation. So you'll notice with the orientation of these, you'll notice with these keys, they're not angled up and down, they're left to right. They're horizontal instead of vertical. Because of that, your standard keycap sets, like for example, I've got some MBKs here, taking this off my corn. This won't fit because you'll notice the pegs are in a vertical instead of a horizontal. Which means if you want to replace this 1.5 keycap, 1.5U keycap, you have to replace it with a 1U. Not a big deal. It's easily reachable with a 1U. But it's my own little nitpickiness kicking in there. I'm just being honest. I wish they followed the standard format of changing the key to a vertical layout. That way, if you wanted to replace, you can just pick up one off the shelf and grab it. But and still have a 1.5U keycap here. But it's not the end of the world. It's just, again, my own little nitpickiness. I'll give you a little closer view of me typing on this keyboard. So I want to show you a little more about me typing on this keyboard. Right now I've got it, since I've got this very short TRRS cable. And that's the nice part, is it comes with a couple different cables. One's 3 foot, and I think the other one's like 9 foot or 10 foot, something like that. They set you up to win with this keyboard. But it's so easy to type on, and it's very comfortable. You can type on this all day and not have any issues, quite frankly. You can set up easy to use key combinations, macros, everything, just like on the Moonlander, and it works so well. This is meant to be a daily driver. This is meant to last you a long time, and you can tell. ZSA did a fantastic job with this keyboard. I'm a big fan of low profile. That's why I started with this. I didn't like the idea of the thick MX keyboards. And that's why when I was giving you those other reviews, I hadn't used those much. I tinker with them every now and then. Gotta have some keyboard fun. But this is a great everyday driver keyboard. If you're wanting one that's a very commercialized product that you can tell is polished really well from a commercial perspective, you found your keyboard. Especially if you have large hands. Smaller hands, you're going to find that the Moonlander and then this keyboard, the Voyager, it may be a little more difficult to reach your thumb keys. The Voyager less so than the Moonlander. But with this Voyager, You can tell my thumbs don't have to stretch. Whereas with the Moonlander, I was stretching out like this, I was really stretching my thumbs out to get to them. With this being so compact, you can throw this in your pack and go anywhere with it. You can take this and easily connect it while you're on the go. Matter of fact, one thing I liked is the CEO of ZSA. I was watching him in a YouTube video a while back, and he was talking about they designed this keyboard in mind so you could like lean it, like have your laptop in the center and lean this on each side of your laptop. And I tell you what, you totally can. The portability and the capabilities with this keyboard, fantastic. I just wish it had a third button. I don't even know what I would use it for. I just found myself naturally reaching in here for a third button. Again, I don't know why. It's me. So just to sum this up, I think I've talked long enough. If you're looking for a good keyboard, especially one low profile, try this out. If you're not sure, you can find these in the used market on eBay, but don't be afraid of spending the money and buying one from ZSA direct. If these hold their value, they are a very popular keyboard, very easy to use, very durable. Honestly, I think this is one of the best made keyboards. I like the fact that it comes with extra keycaps, which is nice, because I already broke one of these 1.5Us. Now, if I wanted to, and you'll find a link down in the description, FK, Free Kittens, you can buy custom MBK keycap sets for your Voyager. It's just you don't get that 1.5U. This is just a standard 1U. Not a big deal. I'm just pointing that out. But know that that is available to you. These keycaps, I've learned, are made from Taihao. These are Taihao Thins. These are nice keycaps. These have a good texture, a good feel to them. I'm personally a bigger fan of the MBKs, but these are still a nice keycap and good feeling. You can tell that these are quality. These are a little thinner than your MBKs. You can tell, but they're still a good quality keycap. You might be wondering what this little pink webbing pad here is. I was trying something out to see about quieting this keyboard down a little bit. That's one thing that's a little different with this keyboard is, by the way, that's a layer change. I love that about this keyboard. You hold down a layer button, you can have it change colors. That's just part of QMK. But because you have this metal bottom with this plastic spacer tray, this acts a little bit as a resonance. So like when I'm typing, I've got the same, just so you have an example here. Here's my corn. When you're typing on the corn, these are the exact same switches as I have on here. And these are a lot more clicky. And that's because there's a little bit of it almost like a guitar body or some other musical instrument. You can tell that this echoes and makes that chirping louder as you're typing. It's not a bad thing. It's not horrible. You can get other types of switches that are more quiet, but that is a difference. Whereas like with my corn, for example, this is just a 3D printed case, standard case. And so there is no void. It's the board directly on there. So it's actually, this is the cool thing I want to show you about this. If you take these side by side here, we're going to look at this together here. Even though this has a spacer in it and stuff, because of this metal, this is a little thinner. Here, let me show you. Let's zoom in and take a look together here. I want to show you this. Now this 3D printed case here on my corn, it's pretty thin. The base plate is only 1.6 millimeters in thickness. So it's a pretty thin 3D print. Whereas with the ZSA Voyager, if we have these side by side here, and I've got these rubber pads here that are folded, so it kind of throws it off a little bit. You can tell this, because of that metal backing though, even though there's a plastic spacer, it's still just slightly thinner. Not even a millimeter, I'd say thinner. Just something neat. So they made the ZSA Voyager to be super thin, and you can tell. And that's something I love about this keyboard. So I hope you enjoyed this video on the ZSA Voyager. Like I said, if you're looking for an open source keyboard that is built really well, that has commercial backing with a nice commercial interface to program it and things. So it's, quite frankly, an easy button, if you would, for programming. This is a great keyboard. I would definitely encourage everyone to give this one a shot. As you can tell, I'm a big fan of the ZSA. I'm glad I picked this as my very first keyboard. My complaints on this, as I said, are very minimal. I mean, that's just me being nitpicky. The staggeredness is very comfortable. The thumb placements are very comfortable. Overall, I'd say this is a fantastic keyboard, whether you're just starting off or if you're wanting one for a long term. As a daily driver or even occasional use, this is a very, very good keyboard. Now you might be wondering, okay, James, that's great and all, but why aren't you still using it? Why are you using a Corn now? Well, we'll save that for another video. But know this, I still love the Voyager. I still get it out, and I still use it from time to time. I need to update my key map, obviously. And yeah, it's just preference. There's sometimes I want to use this. There's other times I prefer my Corn. I love trying out different keyboards. So thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe. Comment down below the video. Let me know what you think. Are you a big fan of the Voyager? What do you like and dislike? Do you prefer another keyboard? Why? MX versus Chalk. List goes on. Please share your thoughts. Be sure to join us in our online communities on the Tricky Board subreddit or on our Discord server. And be sure to check out our online store, turkeyboards.com, for low-profile keyboard parts and open-source keyboards. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this helped you decide if this Voyager is the right keyboard for you, and we'll see you in the next video.